What if I told you that the most powerful weapon on Earth doesn't fire bullets, launch missiles, or command armies? It's printed on green paper. The US dollar, the symbol of global stability, has quietly become the world's most dangerous weapon, not because it kills, but because it controls. Every crisis, every debt, every collapsing currency in the modern world carries its fingerprints. And yet, most people have no idea how it got this power. How did a simple piece of paper born out of trust become the lever that can destroy economies and rewrite nations? To understand that, we have to go back to the moment when the world was broken, 1944. The final year of World War II. As bombs still rained over Europe, 44 nations gathered in a small hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Their goal was to rebuild the world economy and ensure that such devastation never happened again. The United States emerged from that war as the richest nation in human history. Its factories were untouched, its military unmatched, and its vaults overflowing with gold, nearly 2/3 of the world's supply. The global balance of power had shifted overnight. So, in that little conference room, a new financial world was created. Every major currency would be tied to the US dollar, and the dollar itself would be tied to gold, $35 per ounce. It sounded fair, stable, and secure. But hidden within that agreement was a quiet transfer of control. Because from that day forward, any nation that wanted to trade, rebuild, or simply survive would first need one thing: US dollars. The system looked like cooperation, but it was actually dependence. Over the next 2 decades, this structure, known as the Bretton Woods system, built the modern world we live in. American dollars flowed into Europe to rebuild cities through the Marshall Plan, into Asia to spark industrial growth, and into global corporations that would carry the American brand to every corner of the earth. The dollar became not just money, but the bloodstream of world commerce. But something strange began to happen. The United States started printing more dollars than it had gold to back them. War spending in Vietnam, massive domestic programs, and Cold War competition drained the treasury. The promise of 1 ounce of gold for every $35 in circulation became a mathematical impossibility, and the rest of the world noticed. One of the first to speak up was Charles de Gaulle, the President of France. In 1965, he openly accused the United States of abusing its position, enjoying an exorbitant privilege, as he called it, by printing paper that other nations had to treat as gold. France began converting its dollars into gold, and soon other nations followed. Shipments of gold left American vaults by the ton. The illusion was cracking. Then, in August 1971, US President Richard Nixon made a stunning announcement. On national television, he declared that the United States would suspend the convertibility of the dollar into gold. With one decision, the promise that gave the dollar real value was broken. The gold standard gone. Economists warned that the system would collapse, that the dollar would lose trust, that the global economy might crumble. But something very different happened. The dollar didn't die, it evolved. It no longer needed gold to survive because it had already replaced gold in the minds of nations. Still, the 1970s brought chaos. Inflation was out of control. Oil prices soared, and the US needed a new plan to secure the dollar's power. That plan was forged in the deserts of the Middle East. In 1974, a secret agreement was reached between the United States and Saudi Arabia. The deal was simple, but its consequences would shape the entire world. Saudi Arabia would sell oil only in US dollars, In return, America would provide military protection, political support, and advanced weapons. Other oil-producing nations quickly followed. The petrodollar was born. Overnight, oil, the most vital resource on Earth, became tied to the US dollar. Any country that needed energy now needed dollars first. Global demand for the dollar exploded, and with it, American influence. The dollar was no longer just a currency. It was leverage, the ability to control the flow of energy, trade, and credit worldwide. The weapon had been forged. From that point forward, the US could expand its power without firing a single shot. The decades that followed proved just how potent that weapon could be. Nations that challenged American interests found themselves isolated, not by armies, but by sanctions. When Iran refused to play by Washington's rules, its access to global banking was cut off. When Venezuela defied the petrodollar, its economy collapsed almost overnight. Russia, Cuba, North Korea, the list goes on. All victims of an invisible battlefield where the dollar decides who breathes and who chokes. In 1997, the Asian financial crisis revealed the system's darker side. Countries that had borrowed heavily in dollars suddenly saw their debts triple as their own currencies crashed. Entire economies were gutted. The weapon wasn't pointed at them directly, but they bled all the same. Then in 2008, the world watched in horror as America's financial system, the very heart of the dollar empire, collapsed under its own greed. Banks failed, markets crashed, and millions lost their homes. Logic said the dollar should have fallen, but something remarkable happened. Investors everywhere ran toward the dollar for safety. The same system that had caused the fire was now trusted to put it out. It was the ultimate paradox. The arsonist became the fire department. Every global crisis since then has strengthened the dollar's grip. Every nation's pain only deepens their need for it. Yet that power is built not on wealth, but on dependence. A fragile web that binds the world together and could tear apart at any time. For decades, countries have tried to escape the dollar's shadow. Europe created the euro. China built the yuan system and even launched a digital currency. Russia tried trading energy in rubles and gold, but none of it could dethrone the dollar. Today, over 80% of all global trade still involves US dollars. More than 60% of the world's reserves are held in it. The reason is simple. The dollar isn't just a currency, it's a network. The pipelines of global finance systems like SWIFT, the IMF, and the World Bank are all wired to the dollar. Even cryptocurrencies, which once promised financial freedom, orbit around the same star through dollar-backed stablecoins. Every attempt to escape the dollar-esque gravity seems to pull the world right back into its orbit. And that brings us to today, the era where the dollar isn't just money, it's the language of global power. When the United States wants to punish a nation, it doesn't send troops. It freezes bank accounts. In 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, the US didn't just issue sanctions, it locked Russia out of the global financial system. With a few keystrokes, hundreds of billions of dollars in foreign reserves vanished from reach. That moment sent a message to every government on Earth. Your money is never truly yours if it lives inside the dollar system. But here's the dark irony. The weapon no longer only points outward. It's turning inward, slowly consuming its creator. The same policies that export inflation abroad are now eating away at the American middle class. Debt has soared past $34 trillion. Inflation erodes savings. And endless money printing has created the illusion of prosperity, while quietly destroying the foundation of trust. The dollar's dominance, once a symbol of strength, is becoming a source of vulnerability. The system feeds on itself. More debt creates more dollars, which create more dependency, which demands even more debt. It's a loop with no off switch. And somewhere, deep down, every economist knows how loops like this end. History has seen it before. In Rome's silver denarius, in Britain's pound sterling, in every empire that believed its currency would rule forever. They all thought they were different. They all believed their money was eternal, until it wasn't. The dollar began as a promise, a symbol of trust, backed by gold and faith. But today, it's a system of control, backed by fear and obligation. Every empire uses power to protect its position, but money is the most deceptive weapon of all. It conquers quietly. No borders crossed, no armies needed, just policies, interest rates, and digital signatures. And yet, the end of this story isn't written, because the same weapon that made the dollar powerful could also destroy it. The more the United States uses financial sanctions, the more nations search for alternatives. The more dollars it prints, the more fragile its credibility becomes. The more it controls others, the less control it has over itself. Maybe the dollar's real enemy was never another currency. Maybe it was the system that created it. Today, economists whisper about a post-dollar world. A new financial order led by digital currencies, gold-backed trades, or a basket of global tokens. But whether that future arrives tomorrow or a century from now, one thing is certain. No empire stays eternal, not even one built on green paper. The dollar has been the world's most trusted asset and its most dangerous illusion. And when it finally breaks, it won't just be an American problem. It will be everyone's. So the question isn't when it ends, it's what replaces it and who will hold the power next time. If you want to understand how money, power, and control truly work, stay curious. Subscribe, follow the story, and prepare for the next chapter. The Hidden Empire: How the IMF and World Bank Keep Nations in Debt Forever. Because in the world of finance, the real wars are never fought with guns. They're fought in silence.